Hello everyone and welcome back to World Builder. Since the last episode we have updated to 1.14 and we have taken out the old market and we are putting in a new one today because I didn't like the old one after I looked at it for a while. It just didn't really work for me. So we're redoing it this time. First thing to do is to remake the paths and plan it out. So I wanted to, I raised the terrain in the back so that I could make stalls that attach to the walls, because that looks pretty good. So in this example, the green is the marketplace stall area things, and the red is for paths. So this area was also really flat, so I wanted to change the terrain a bit to make it a bit more interesting. And since there's a hill right here, I figured using that hill would be a good way to do that. So there is a path there. I decided to extend it a bit more, just to make more room for things to exist. And the green just plans out all the market stalls very nicely. And for this, part of why the old one looked so odd to me was because every stall was a square. Like, every stall. It was either like a square or a diagonal square, or it was some sort of square shape. Um, and it wasn't like non-square. It just looked very square and boring. So it looked bad. Um, I think another reason it looked bad is because the roofs of the stalls were only ever one color. I never mixed colors, and that didn't really look good. So, you can see here I'm kind of planning out the borders with the sandstone, but I also have those two fence pillar areas, and those fence pillars are basically like, there's going to be carpets in between them and like a roof above them, and that is a market stall itself, just without any physical border walls. So we're going through and replacing all the green with sandstone, just to keep planning it out. And eventually we go back and do the same thing that we did with the other market stalls, where we mix up the sandstone and put in different things. So now begins the process of building the roof for the market stall. And as we start here, I'm not moving. Okay. You should probably move. There's a lot of building for you to do later. Okay. I guess I had to do something. Sure. Anyway, uh, after that, interruption or whatever, we go to the roof. And for this particular thing, I'm mixing in different colors, like I did at the ducks. Most of these stalls are going to be the same sort of general idea as to what I did at the ducks, where I mix in colors for the roofs. And having the wall is great, because it means I don't have to do like a full sphere, and I can just do like, it just leans off and comes down. For this to work better, the wall would have been a bit higher. um, but I think it didn't look bad, based off of what we have going on. And while I could have made it higher, it would have taken a lot of work, and especially without World Edit, I don't really want to do that. So you might have also noticed that there's no shaders on, and that is because Optifine has not come out yet for 1.14 at the time of recording this, so no shaders can be used, which is very sad. But as you can see here, there's lots of different wool combinations that go well together, and if I really wanted to, I could have mixed in like terracotta and concrete into it also, just to make the texture even more varied. But I think that just the wool variance is enough. So at the end there, I go for a yellow and white, which was just kind of like, okay, I have these 6 colors left. What am I gonna do? Um, and yellow and white looked, okay. It's like a daisy or whatever. So I decided to keep that, just because it doesn't look terrible. And it kind of blends in well with the other 5 color combinations that I have. So with this, the challenge here was to try and space them apart so that there's not like 2 grays right next to each other. And I kind of managed to. I feel like I might have been able to do a better job eventually if I had tried a bit harder, but it was just not worth all the effort to go and plan out specifically, okay, this is going to go here, this is going to go here, um, all those things. So there are some that are only one away, even though some are like two away or whatever. Um, and I did end up having to make two of the red because that fit best with the space that I had. So there's that. Um, so for these stalls in the middle here, the roofs are slightly more complicated because there's no wall. So I use fences. And I could have done things where I varied the fence height and all that stuff, but I didn't really feel like doing that because it didn't really work well with the aesthetic I was trying to create. So, and I think it looks fine even with the fences being on multiple heights, or on the same height. Because the roofs are so varied, the roofs draw your attention to them a lot more than the fences do, just because of their colors and stuff. Like, you're not really going to be looking for the fences specifically, unless that's something you're doing. Um, but to anyone that's just looking at it, the roofs are going to be what you're looking at. Um, so there's some challenges in trying to get them all to fit, but you know, it's just how it works. So we gotta remake the paths, and here is the process of replacing the sandstone borders with sandstone stairs, sandstone slabs, smooth sandstone stairs, smooth sandstone slabs, cut sandstone, smooth sandstone, sandstone blocks, all these things, all the way around, every single market stall. It does take a while. Um, and you can kind of see there what I mean by doing the carpets. Like there's a carpet on the ground, and that is kind of like the border for the stall. Another thing added in 1.14 that we can take advantage of is the new like machine and workstation blocks for villagers. So barrels are really useful for this because they're like chests but better. Uh, the loom, furnaces, blast furnaces, smokers, all these things look really good in market stalls. And if I had them available, I would have put them on the roofs of the buildings also. But since I didn't at the time, I'm not going to go back and change them. Just because I like what I have there and I don't want to mess it up. So the paths, um, as, especially compared to the last set I had, the last market stalls, I mean, these paths look so much better because they're a lot more varied in structure. It's not just like two circles and that's it. Like, there's a lot more to it. You can go around different market stalls in different orders, and you don't have to view these market stalls at this time and these at another time. Like, you can walk in a lot more varied fashion, which makes it look way better. Um, so doing the same general thing for all of them and replacing them. Advice for that is to just kind of do it randomly, but, you know, don't, like, go crazy. There should still be some, like, you know, block under the fences, or maybe, like, an upside down stair or slab, but not, like, a bottom slab below the stair or below the fence. Like, that just doesn't make sense. The fence wouldn't be floating. Um, and there are other things you can do, like bringing blocks up, like adding a half slab on top of a stair or a full block, can really help provide that sort of fence structure that is needed. So in every market stall, I also like to put a chest, um, because it's something that you'd feel like everyone would have, because it just makes sense to have a chest, like for them to store money and things like that in. Um, but yeah, other blocks that can be used in these, like the smokers, cartography tables, enchanting tables, end portal frames, anvils, chests, hay bales. TNT could be used if I wasn't worried about it exploding. Melons, looms, all these things can be used in these market stalls to really provide the sense of like, wow, there's selling a lot of stuff here. And you can see from the air that there's a lot of a different feel to this one than there was in the last one. So another thing added in 1.14 is lanterns, and you can't place them on the sides of blocks, which is really annoying because it makes it much harder to use them to light things. So I did place them on the undersides and upper sides of a lot of blocks, and I created these little sort of lamppost things to hang lanterns from in a way that doesn't look terrible just for the paths. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep those. They're kind of just a temporary like design. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna leave this here. Leave a like, subscribe if you enjoyed, leave a comment, any feedback you have for me, and I'll see all of you later. Bye.